Legacy media. Take this, guys. Elon Trump. Oops. Was that Freudian? Elon Musk and Donald Trump just topped 1 billion views. According to Elon Musk, he tweeted this one out today. Combined views of our conversation with @real Donald Trump and subsequent discussions by other accounts now around 1 billion. I mean, that's just amazing. Mainstream media is not too happy. Here's a look at the demos. I'll tell you, they're really not happy because guess what? This is the coveted demo. Look at that, 25 to 34 years old. 70% of the viewership, 25 to 34 years old. So the majority of viewers were right in that sweet spot that Kamala Harris so desperately craves and wants. That's why she's allegedly paying for positive press over on TikTok, which apparently is quite happy to give it to her. China and all. Anyway, she's trying to get that 25 to 34-year-old crowd. And guess what? They sat down and they listened to part of that conversation with Donald Trump on none other than X. So this is really scary stuff for the media, the mainstream media that's dealing with all the changes in the media industry. It feels very threatened, of course, by the likes of X and YouTube and even Facebook. In other words, there's a new way to talk to you guys. I mean, I'm doing it right here, right now, live. And it's sort of surreal. I say this all the time, like, I can't believe how quickly the industry is changing and how much I welcome this and value this, because we can have a direct connection in ways that we just never could before, right? You know, there was the prompter, there was management overlooking your scripts, et cetera, et cetera. Please make sure you subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. I mean, this is a very different animal, but it's an authentic one. And I think this is really how people are getting the truth. But it's not perfect. It's not easy because you know what? The truth is not always that apparent. You got one side saying this, another side saying that. At some point, you got to actually get to the bottom of things. We didn't get to the bottom of things in 2020, right? We were spun a whole bunch of lies by the likes of, well, the deep state that was heavily involved in Twitter at the time. I mean, it's part of the reason why Elon Musk bought it. So you had the 51X spooks saying, oh, nothing to see here. Remember about Hunter Biden's laptop? We have more headlines coming to you on that momentarily because he's in more trouble. But it turns out that the New York Post reporting was correct, that laptop was real. It was not misinformation fed to you by the likes of the Russians and Rudy Giuliani, as ex-CIA folks were trying to lead you to believe, including not only ex-CIA folks, but actually the guy who's now our Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. And he's the one that went to the deputy director of the CIA, Mike Morrell, and said, hey, buddy, can you put this together? And they got 51 of them to sign this letter. And so I think we've been there, done that. And then when you learn that Kamala's campaign is trying to recreate headlines as ads and borrow the likes of all these news organizations and their reputations and try and insinuate something that's actually not true in order to paint her in a more favorable light, what you got to say is, you know what, the onus is on Americans to actually do a little bit more due diligence themselves, to come to places like the Trish Regan show where you are going to get the truth and we're going to cut through all those layers, because there's a lot of layers. And, you know, people, I get it. Like, you know, you're busy. You're not a journalist. You're not going to sit there and say, oh, wait a second, is this a sponsored link? Or is this a real story? So she's counting on that. She's preying upon that naivete. And the scary thing is, she was able, Democrat Party certainly was able to do it before. Can they really do it again?